First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, Shalom, Labukariam, Shah, Yasharala. Peace to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well. And sincere salutations to all the Agwath who listen in silence and meekness as the scriptures command to do so. Alright, a lot going on. Just as Elder Apostle Tahar says, you miss a day, you miss a lot. A lot going on. In the last video, I was talking about B.B. Milikowski a little bit. They fear that B.B. Milikowski, a.k.a. Benjamin Netanyahu, is dead. You know, they've been putting up these video feeds of him in this conference room, wherever it may be, maybe under the ground, maybe holed up in some bunker someplace, most likely, seeing as how Tel Aviv is getting absolutely decimated. But I wanted to show some of these videos of just some of the things that people have been posting, and some of the information that's out there on the social media platforms, and some of the videos that basically it's all data, all evidence compiled against Esau, Edom, and against Amalek. You know, a lot of these videos are, you know, things that I reposted on Instagram or on you know, on the social media, and I'm just gonna this up for a second. Yeah, I'm gonna go through some of these reposts, and then I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to scriptures in which it deals with. So this is the first one. This is UK Parliament not too long ago.
Let's be clear, Donald Trump's war in Iran is illegal, and the situation that has unfolded since is verging on insane. Oil is falling from the skies, sewers are exploding, the IRGC is indiscriminately attacking civilians across the region, cargo ships, and potentially even mining the Strait of Hormuz. The economic consequences of which will be stark for the global economy, but for every single person living on these isles too. And whether the Prime Minister accepts it or not, he did indeed take us into that war when he allowed the Americans to use UK bases just last week. But I have a specific question. He'll have seen the same footage I have of an American Tomahawk missile landing on a primary school, killing 110 children. Does he believe that to be a war crime? Yeah. Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, let's be clear,
And so this is dealing with Revelations. You know, this is Revelation. What is this? 17. Where the beast, well, we know what the beast system is, you know, being the 10 marker nations, or the 10 toes, basically the NATO nations that are aligned right now with the, Babylon the whore. And so what's coming is the wrath of these nations, because they are, and this is the beginning of it, piece by piece. Everybody is seeing what Israel, through coercion, is making basically the United States do in the Levant and in attacking Iran. And by the U.S. illegally attacking Iran, by this president now illegally going into Iran and attacking them without congressional approval, I might add you, which is totally illegal and unconstitutional. We see what's happening is that these other nations, which are being dragged into this fight, via, you know, just like this, this Parliament politician has said that the UK is getting brought into the fighting in Iran by allowing the U.S. to access their bases to front load this thing. Basically, we know that, basically it's like this. The United States can move into any theater of war within an 18-hour time span. They can have boots on the ground, which is what they're doing right now. But because of the proximity of the war and all the American interests that have been actually the bases that have been decimated, whether it be the embassies in Baghdad and Iraq and the UAE, all these, the Saudi Arabia, all these Bahrain, all these areas where the U.S. has had assets or military bases and outposts, all those outposts have been destroyed. They have been destroyed, and those government buildings that the U.S. once owned and operated have been destroyed. And so they need to have these UK bases are being utilized to kind of front load and kind of act as almost like a forward operating base or forward operating post. But by them doing that, it's starting to upset the others that don't want to get dragged into this illegal war, that don't want to deal with this thing that the U.S. and Israel has got going on. So this is Revelation 17. This is where it talks about the whore Babylon. And this is chapter 17, Revelation. I'm going to just start from the top and read the whole thing through. And they came, hold on, let me get for frame of reference. So, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. We know that great whore is Babylon, aka United States. Verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and decked with gold, and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are the 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These are the NATO nations, the marker nations, the 10 marker nations. Verse 14, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Adawan of Adawans, and the King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, ye shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that is where I'll stop, because that is clearly showing this is the seed of this right here. That first video is the seed of what's going on. These countries, these nations are being dragged into this thing, and many of them are going to be dragged in unwilling. And when they see that this all is because of what the Zionists have done through covert means and taking over the government through blackmail, because we know with the Epstein files that they basically have blackmailed the president into doing all these things that he's doing right now. DJT is doing what he is been told to do, more or less. We know the cruel Lord is cruel in that the first strike that they took was against an elementary school, and they killed 110 all-girls school, killing little girls, you know. Now this guy is already guilty of being a PDF, you know, and now that he's running, he's starting this war to try to foment the possibility of him staying in the position of power so that he doesn't go to prison. So this is what's going on behind the scenes. But we're filtering all this stuff that's going on behind the scenes through the scriptures. And this is basically Revelation 17 coming to fruition. Slowly but surely coming to fruition. Because just like this guy's saying, they're being dragged into this, not willingly, but because the UK is being tasked by the U.S. to use their bases as a jumping point so that they can get their troops into Iran and stage, basically like staging their equipment there. They're dragging the UK into it. Yep. Play it one more.
Exploding the IRGC is indiscriminately attacking. Let's be clear, Donald Trump's war in Iran is illegal, and the situation that has unfolded since is verging on insane. Oil is falling from the skies, sewers are exploding, the IRGC is indiscriminately attacking civilians across the region, cargo ships, and potentially even mining the Strait of Hormuz, the economic consequences of which will be stark for the global economy, but for every single person living on these isles too. And whether the Prime Minister accepts it or not, he did indeed take us into that war when he allowed the Americans to use UK bases just last week. But I have a specific question. He'll have seen the same footage I have of an American Tomahawk missile landing on a primary school, killing 110 children. Does he believe that to be a war crime?
Yeah. Well, that's what's going on. Next one. Now this is
since the war started, and yesterday the Israelis were
B.B. Milikowski. They fear that they think that he's dead. This is obviously AI because it's got 6 fingers. But let me start it from the beginning.
seen in public since the war started, and yesterday the Israelis released a video of him talking, and people were quick to point out this is AI. In the video, people were able to point out the disappearing 6th finger that was popping up on both hands. This was his 3rd video message since the war started. All of them have been in this strange room underground. And if you look at this right here, this is clearly a 6th finger that is AI generated. Even Grok says that it's clearly AI, a classic AI artifact. And then this was just really bad from them. The day that the war started, his plane, the Wing of Zion, departed and landed in Berlin, Germany. They said it was a routine test, but the plane never came back. Now, his Twitter account, weirdly, has been one of the only things posting images of him, and people are going, is this AI? Also, they're just random. Images in the desert where he's meeting the Israeli pilots, they blur the faces. The only images and videos we're getting of Benjamin Netanyahu since the war started has been from the Israeli government or his personal Twitter account. Netanyahu has not been seen.
Okay, so there's that. There's that. Hey, we know this is the time of Jacob's trouble. And, hey, over 500,000 black men have lost their job in just 4 months. You know, this is Jacob's trouble. This is Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. You know, those of the elect. I'm not saying all, but those that are of the elect will be saved out of it. And this is what's going on. This is what's going on. This is where we at. This is where we at right now. We're deeply in the book of 2nd Esdras. Everywhere in 2nd Esdras, 2nd Esdras 13, 14, 15, 16, everything is lining up. Ezekiel 38 is about to take place. Ezekiel 39 is about to take place. The least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock being the Amalekites. You know, that's what's going on. So, but this ties in on the domestic front. I'll say on the domestic front of everything that's going on in Babylon. This is going on, and even this has affected me. So it's real. It's real. We in that time. 414-144. Call Allah Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Bahashem Rakakwadash. It's 414. It's 144. Yep. So 500,000 black men have lost their jobs in the last 4 months. From November to February. In November 2025, 9.9 million black men were employed. And as of February 2026, 9.4 million black men are employed. So there was about 0.5 or 500,000 lost jobs in the domestic sector, but all black men unemployed as far as black men is concerned. So so-called black men. We know that the tribes, the Israelites, you know. Yep. This is what's coming here. This is what's going to be happening pretty soon. I mean, this is what's going to be happening. And I'm going to go right back to it where I keep going because I'm going to stay there on it because it's the spirit. This is from the Zabalawan Reverse Faith. Yeah. Okay, he didn't put the verse I was looking for, but this has to do with this as well. But these type of things, you know, chipping stations being at Walmart, the MOTB being introduced, that's all Revelations 13, 16 to 19. This is the type of thing we're going to be seeing in the next few months to years. Chipping stations at your local Walmart or at your local tattoo shop or wherever. And I'm just going to read from the book of Revelations, as this has to deal primarily with the mark of the beast, this picture here. And this is Revelations 13, starting at the 16th verse. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, or 666. You know that if you've done the due diligence to study it, in the gematria, The 666 alludes to the Neuralink, which is going to be used as the mark of the beast for those that want to get or that are subject to having to get the mark of the beast in the forehead or the head, which, because not everybody has arms and legs. Some people are amputees. Some people, have lost their hands or lost their digits or or have been, born maimed. But everybody has a head. Everyone who is alive has a head, right? So there are two ways. Either you get the RFID chip implanted under the skin in between the forefinger and the thumb, or you get the Neuralink implanted straight into the brain, and that's what is coming. That's what's coming. Okay, next thing. Yep, and this is going back. Shout out to the Ak Mawaf to Adawam. This is going back to. I'm gonna go back to Second Esdras. This is basically pictures. Some people are doing, pictures of civil unrest and sedition, coming to a city near you. Right now it's pictures, but eventually it's going to be the real thing, It's going to be the real thing, and it's going to get critical. It's going to be critical, and that's the time that we're entering, and I'm thinking we're already in the midst of civil unrest, especially in states like California, New York as well, Minneapolis, Minnesota. We see all the marches, all the things going on, ICE agents jumping out and grabbing people out of the cars, grabbing people out of their homes, things of that nature. All of this was written in the scriptures. Let me go to some scripture here. Alright, let's go back to where I've been. Second Esdras 15. Second Esdras 15. Yep. There we go. This is Second Esdras 15. 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes. Who's their kings nor their princes? Well, the authorities. They will not regard neither the federal government, neither will they regard the police, nor will they regard any of these agencies, these alphabet agencies, or any of this stuff, because things are going to eventually get that crazy socioeconomically, with the prices of food going high and the prices of gasoline starting to skyrocket. It's going to get absolutely crazy until it just eventually boils over into absolute bedlam. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, when the shit hits the fan, and there's no rule of law, and people will do things, whatever they need to do to feed themselves, which means people will be becoming marauders, people will break in and steal, Like I said before, and I'll say it again, 9 meals is all it takes. 9 missed meals, and then anarchy and chaos ensue. Because when people can't feed themselves and can't feed their children, desperate times, people do desperate things, Hard decisions will have to be made in that day, A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Well, we can see that with the way they do these lockdowns. If something happens, whether it be a black swan event or a mass shooting or anything of that nature, an attack of some sort, then the city will be placed in lockdown. And if you're outside the city, you won't be able to enter into it. So we can see that is a real possibility. For because of their pride, verse 18, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Yeah, because when it's craziness and pandemonium going on in the streets, it's going to be a danger to go out, because you may go out and not come back, and especially if Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is not supping with you, not dealing with you. That's why whenever I go out, even right now, whenever I go out, I pray, Lord, bless my going out and bless my coming in. Protect me as I go forth in the highways and byways, and just praying that you get home safely. But in those days, because of the utter chaos, people would be going out, go out to the store, and Jake go out to the store, and just trying to get something to feed his family or what have you, could get blown away, could get killed in the process, could get ran over by a car. Don't know what could happen. But in that time is fastly approaching. We only got a short amount of time before things start going absolutely crazy. And man, that's what God did. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. And we know the modern day sword is the gun. That's what I'm talking about. Men invading each other and invading your very neighbors, the ones that you say hi to, and when you go get the mail out of the mailbox, whatever their names are, Jack, John, whoever, the people that you see on the opposite side of your fence in the backyard, hey, how you doing? Howdy, neighbor, how you doing? Making small talk and whatnot. In that day, when things get drastically short, it's going to be a different type of temperament. It's going to be a different type of time, and things are going to be desperate. Your neighbors, people that you think your friends, maybe even family, you don't know, at that time, it's going to be critical, Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. That great tribulation being, hey, look, what if there's a cyber attack, and now, the banks don't work, electronics don't work, EMP go off, something like that, electromagnetic pulse, they call it, and the lights go out, In that day, that's all forms of tribulation. And let me tell you something. I remember back in 2003 when the lights went out in New York City and New Jersey. The lights went out for about a week, and it was crazy when it first happened, because if you down in the city and the lights go out, people have no idea that. I mean, we think. We don't really understand, because it doesn't happen often, but when it does, when the lights go out, in terms of all electricity being shut down, there's a certain frequency that is no longer there. There's a quietness, there's a stillness, there's a deadness, and in that stillness and in the dark, it can be very scary, because if you don't know what's lurking out there, and if you don't know how people are going to respond around you, I mean, just imagine whether you commute into the city or whether however you get to work or onto the plantation. Imagine you taking the train, right? You taking the train into the city, or taking the train from the city back home, and the train shut down, the lights go out. There's been many a movie made, but you can just infer how bad it would be, especially in a time that's coming when prices are high, things are not going good domestically. Money is low, funds are low, prices is high, wages not going up. You can imagine how critical a time it would be and how desperate people would be, especially people that have children. You have small children, you're going to want to feed your children. And that responsibility lies on the parents and namely the men, you know. So don't think that neighbor that you see every once in a while smiling, hey, how you doing, you know, when you go pick up your mail, or sometimes you see him out at the grocery store, or hey, how you doing, you know. And in that time, it won't be no groceries on the shelves, you know. And because it will be a time of desperation, strangers and neighbors alike, because you think that, you know, there are evil people, and there are spirits that are be for wrath, you know. There are spirits that are made for wrath and for revenge, you know. And in that day, those spirits, those people that have, you know, been hidden somewhat because of the normalcy bias or the normal way and the function of, you know, the rule of law and the police, and, you know, especially you Jake women in that day, man, it ain't gonna be no mouthing off. Y'all gonna get right. Y'all gonna get right. Now some of y'all gonna get rejected too, because you during the time when things was good, you had so much mouth. You thought you had all the power, but when things get real critical, yeah, a lot of you Jakes, a lot of you Keishas, and a lot of you, you know, Jake niggas too, are going to get killed in that day. So a lot of you 2/3, you 2/3 Jakes that's playing around, that ain't trying to turn back to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shine, come into this truth, but want to live in the ways of the world and learn in the way of the heathen. Yeah, Yahweh Shai got something for your ass. We got something for you. But yeah. Let's see. It'll be a time of desperation. Yep. Global decree. Enforce. No buying, no selling, no life without the implant. Yeah. That's what it's going to be like. Because it's going to fall upon people suddenly. And it's going to be mandatory. And then that's when you're going to start seeing people get nabbed. The people that now, granted, I'm willing to say that by and large in this country, especially like in the southern states in the Bible Belt, for a time, the majority of the people will be willing to fight against it. But when things start to get drastic, that's why it's called the hour of temptation. When things start to get real, when things start to get drastic, and there ain't no food in that cupboard, and ain't nothing coming, and there ain't nothing on the store shelves, because, you know, all the traditional grocery stores is gone. They will have sequestered the distribution centers, and they will have sequestered where the food is, either through military takeover or martial law. Then where you gonna go? Where you gonna go? If you ain't got something stored up, you know, and even if you do have something stored up, if your house ain't dealing with you, the rest of the store, you know, somebody coming to get what you got. Somebody desperate is gonna come try to take what you have. Yeah. This is they just dropped what they call a MOP, which is supposedly a massive non-nuclear ordinance, mother of all bombs, Moab, bunker busters, basically. The Iranians are in there, mountain highlights, and Israel and the U.S. is trying to get to it. All this stuff is coming, it's culminating into a massive, just absolute chaos.
call themselves Netanyahu, but it's just a stolen name, a Hebrew mask plastered over a European exile's face. His real name was Milikowski, born of Ashkenazi lineage from Poland. Benjamin Netanyahu has neither the blood, nor the land, nor the language of those he claims to represent. His Judaism is not that of the shepherds of Hebron, nor the poets of Jaffa. It is the Judaism of a colonizer from elsewhere who put on the prophet's robe to hide the scent of ashes. Because what he represents today is not a people, it is a machine, a political, military, ideological machine, a machine of steel and contempt. Netanyahu didn't grow up on the banks of the Jordan. He grew up in the salons of New York's conservative elite and the ultra-nationalist sermons of his father, Ben Zion, the hardline Zionist historian. He never spoke Arabic. He never shared bread with a Palestinian. He never had to bury a child beneath the rubble of an Israeli airstrike. He is not from this land. He took it. And yet he decides. He demolishes. He signs the orders. Today, under his rule, Gaza is a graveyard for children. Rafah, a field of ruin.
What are we doing with Greenland? We got to do something with Greenland. Where's my advance team? Go to Greenland. They must have some satellite needs or something we can do there. We're coloring the world blue. Hitler didn't want to exterminate the Jews at the time. He wanted to expel the Jews.
Can you say that again? Just the way you said it.
This is Revelation 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of the Hasatan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. And this is what Yahushua is going to have to do, because these people, we know, anybody who studied the history knows that these people that are over there right now and claiming to be the Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan, we know the history of them. We know the history. We know that they're liars. We know that they're thieves. We know that they have used covert means to secure what they have, and now they have systematically tried to kill all of the other people around them that know that they don't belong there. And that's what this whole war against Gaza and against the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, way back in the day. This has been going on for a while, but we see it all coming to a head. We see it all coming to a head, and the pieces, the chess pieces, are being moved by Yahweh. Because this is his movie. He's put it in their hearts to do these things. And this is all evidence against them, In court proceedings, you have to, have the discovery, you have to put forth the evidence. And the evidence has been clearly put forth that these people do not belong there, that they are not the chosen people, and that they are phonies, They're phonies masquerading as something that they are not. They are the synagogue of the Hasatan. Hell yeah. This was Tel Aviv a couple nights ago. As soon as they launched, they got hit by an ordnance and came back.
fucking the door. Okay.
Almost immediately.
Go!
Almost immediately.
I had to become a freak. Of course, they pancaked Rachel Corrie and had pancake parties, putting her face, like trying to draw her. See, people won't think this is real. They should look it up. Rachel Corrie, American college girl, I think maybe 22 or something, beautiful young girl. She was there trying to stop them from bulldozing a Palestinian's house illegally. I think that was probably in the West Bank. And they just ripped debris and then ran over her and slowly crushed her. She died a couple of days, a day or two later in the hospital. And then they threw a party, a pancake party, so they smashed her into a pancake, mocking her. This is our greatest ally. How are Americans not fucking outraged? How do they not look? They're trying to protect a doctor's house. Yeah, trying to protect a doctor's house. They crush her to death and throw a party mocking her. Not a peep out of any of our politicians. It's just like stole her corneas too. Oh my God. They stole her eyes. And of course, they pancaked Rachel Corrie and had pancake parties, putting her face, like trying to draw her. See, people won't think this is real. They should look it up. Rachel Corrie, American college girl, I think maybe 22 or something, beautiful young girl. She was there trying to stop them from bulldozing a Palestinian's house illegally. I think that was probably in the West Bank. And they just ripped debris and then ran over her and then crushed her. She died a couple of days, a day or two later in the hospital. And then they threw a party, a pancake party, so they smashed her into a pancake, mocking her. This is our greatest ally. How are Americans not fucking outraged? How do they not look? They're trying to protect a doctor's house. Yeah, trying to protect a doctor's house. They crush her to death and throw a party mocking her. Not a peep out of any of our politicians. It's just like stole her corneas too. Oh my God, they stole her eyes. Of course.
This is what is going on. This is what's going on. This is Revelation 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. These fake Hebrews, these fake Jews, these fake JOOs. This is the type of shit that they've been doing, and that they keep doing. This eventually is going to culminate in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai coming back and destroying them. That's what's going to happen. Let's keep going. You want to know why they have to go into Iran, right? Why DJT it's because a central bank has to be in every nation. They have to set up a central bank to control all the population. That's what the New World Order, that's what these secret societies, that's what they've sworn to, the banksters, the high level elite Edomites. That's what they have sworn to do, and this has been going on for many years. This has been going on since the 1700s. 441, call halal Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. 144, call halal Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. This has been going on through centuries, and all of this is culminating in World War III, the third woe. Third woe is coming, and is in fact here. This is the beginning of sorrows. But let me play this as well, because this has to do with the central bank, and everybody that fought against the central bank, they eventually killed them or martyred them.
Printed millions in government-issued notes, bypassing European banks to fund the Civil War. 5 days after the war ended, he went to Ford's Theater. President McKinley supported the gold standard, while others favored a central bank with a flexible currency. It wasn't long before an anarchist was let into his rally. three business titans allegedly opposed the creation of an American central bank. They all took an unsinkable ship owned by J.P. Morgan. He was supposed to go with them, but canceled last minute. That ship was called the Titanic, and the Federal Reserve was founded the next year. Senator Huey Long rallied against the Fed and tried to cap America's wealth. He was shot inside Louisiana's capital. His gunman was killed instantly, with no autopsy, lost evidence, and conflicting ballistics. Congressman Louis McFadden accused the Federal Reserve of high treason for causing the Great Depression. He collapsed after a banquet. The official story? Heart attack. JFK signed an executive order giving the Treasury power to issue silver certificates and bypass Fed-issued notes. You know how this ends. Congressman Larry McDonald, a fierce critic of all global banking elites, boarded Korean Airlines. Abraham Lincoln printed millions in government-issued notes.
Yeah. It goes on to show more and more of what they did, but like Esau Edom, always trying to conceal the truth and lie to the people. This is Thomas Sankara, former president of Burkina Faso. He was assassinated for trying to prevent both a coup and a central bank from being administered and opened up in Burkina Faso. This is what they did. But what Esau Edom does now on these social media platforms and anywhere that the truth is with video, they try to discount it by corrupting the audio file. But just like it's showing here, Gaddafi was killed because he wanted to get out from under the
millions in government
petrodollar. He wanted to have an African currency so that they didn't have to deal with the American petrodollar anymore. And the central bankers, they had at that time they had Obama. He was the president at that time. They had him go in and kill him. You know, these people that the people that are running the show are the people that have the power, the money changers, the power to print the money, and through covert means and through murder and espionage and everything else, they try to get their central banks into all these countries where they aren't, and that's why DJT had to go after Iran, because they want a central bank in Iran, and Iran doesn't have a central bank that's tethered to the overall Rothschild or Bauer-controlled central banking system. You know, they weren't using the SWIFT payment system. All right, so that's that. Yep.
Ordered U.S. airports to hand over the name of every single passenger to ICE. Not suspects, not people with warrants, everyone. The TSA is now feeding ICE passenger lists multiple times a week, and ICE is cross-checking those names against deportation databases, meaning if you fly, your name is scanned. If ICE thinks you might be deportable, the airport becomes the trap. This started in March. No public announcement, no vote, no warning. And they're already using it. A 19-year-old freshman was arrested at Boston Logan Airport and deported to Honduras. She was brought to the U.S. when she was 7. She didn't know she was deportable. Her family didn't know. She found out at the airport. Another woman was arrested in Salt Lake City the exact same way. This isn't about terrorists. This isn't about violent crime. This is mass surveillance of travelers repurposed for immigration enforcement. And here's the part that should really get you. TSA was never supposed to be involved in immigration enforcement. Ever. That line just disappeared. DHS says this is about stopping undocumented people from flying unless it's out of the country. So let's be clear. They turned airports into ICE checkpoints. They turned boarding passes into screening tools for deportation. And they did it without your consent. If the government can quietly turn flight data into a deportation dragnet, ask yourself what database is next, because once everyone's name becomes fair game, no one's privacy is safe. This should scare the hell out.
And that's exactly, I just gotta go back to it, and I put it up there, 2nd Ezra 15 and 17. This is exactly from on the page, leapt off to out of the page, and now the reality of the prophecy has come true. 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 17. For a person will desire to go into a city and shall not be able to do so. So now, the airport's becoming checkpoints, places to, basically get anyone that's traveling that's deported. You don't even have to be doing anything illegal. But you go to the airport thinking you're going to take a flight to whatever destination you're trying to get to, whether it's somewhere domestically or whether it's an international flight, you're trying to go someplace else. Now they just take you. Real. So if you're traveling, now's not the time, really. Now's not the time. The other apostles already said that travel, it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous to travel, Now's not the time. You desiring to go someplace, you desiring to go into a city, and you won't get there. You won't be able to, This is real, man. This is real. The scripture is coming to life, man. Oh yeah, this is Esau Edom just corrupts everything. You got a pill. They drop a pill out. This is crazy. Drop a pill in oil and then it makes fries. Yeah, the Disney connection with this Epstein Island thing is disgusting. But Disney is all about magic and it's always been about that. It's always been about pedophilia and magic and mixing magic with kidnapping children. They even have secret tunnels that lead to certain bathrooms within the so-called Magic Kingdom. Down there in Florida and in California. These people they've used these places to traffic and enslave children and do all the wicked things that was in those files, which for the reason another reason for this war is because this president is running scared and just gonna start a war, like I said. We already know what's been done. He can't hide it. This is all the evidence. All of this is evidence against Esau Edom and against these wicked evildoers. This is all evidence against them. Damn, this was kind of funny. This is, you know who that is. And that's the mother. And she said herself, yes, he's an idiot with zero common sense and no social skills, but he is my son. I just hope he never gets into politics. He'd be a disaster. Wow. Straight from the horse's mouth. Wow. Crazy. Yeah. All the wickedness that Esau Edom has perpetrated against Yahweh's chosen possession, the Israelites, the true Israelites. Play this from the beginning.
The wife. A murder that is of particular interest to me was of a 17-year-old boy by the name of Jess Washington in Waco, Texas, in 1960. He was seriously mentally challenged. The wife of the farmer that he worked for was found dead. He was arrested. He was brought to trial. Trial took from 10 until 12. And when the jury came back at noon and found him guilty, someone in the courtroom, and it would have been anyone in the courtroom, screamed out, "Get that n***." Then one of the worst and cruelest treatments of a human being began. Jess was kicked down out of the courthouse, down the back steps where a crowd of several hundred was waiting for him. They put a chain on his neck. There was...
Once again, you saw Edom trying to mess up the audio file, prevent the truth from getting out. But all of it is evidence. All of it is evidence against them. And they didn't let us go. They held the children of Yasharallah. They held us fast and they would not let us go. And then they did evil things to us. All this wickedness. All this evil against the possession of the Most High. Yep. So again. Yeah, that's the time we in, second Esdras, you know. Keep on pounding going back to it, like, you know, man. Shout out to the Akim Tatapanya 144 for this video. That's what's coming, you know. This is second Esdras 14. Alas, for the world and for those who live in it, for the sword and misery draw near them, and nation shall rise up to fight against nation with swords in their hands, you know. For there shall be unrest among people, growing strong against one another. They shall in their might have no respect for their king or the chief of their leaders. For a person will desire to go into a city and shall not be able to do so. Because of the pride, the cities shall be in confusion. The houses shall be destroyed and people shall be afraid. People shall have no pity for their neighbors, but shall make an assault upon their houses with the sword, and plunder their goods because of hunger for bread and because of great tribulation. This is what's going on. This is what's about to happen. It's about to happen. And when it does, this is the time is now to get close to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Shout out to the Akim. Shout out to the Akim for that video.
Rock the United States is, look.
Fuck the American government. What have they done for me? What have they done for my children?
Do you really
violate my rights?
Do you really not know the answer to that?
Come on, man. It was the CIA that put me in prison. What in the world do I owe the CIA?
It was your decisions that put you in prison.
It was the CIA's law-breaking that put me in prison.
It was your choice to highlight the CIA's law-breaking to media that put you in prison. You just proved his point when you said the reason why the CIA threw him in jail was because he was exposing their illegal activities. That is corrupt as fuck. Pay attention and listen because...
After Marco Rubio...
He framed it, what does it say, roughly paraphrasing, he framed it the law by mischief, so, yeah. Hey, this is the times we're living in, man. I'm just gonna let, I'm gonna shut up, and I'm just gonna let certain things play out. Shout out to the Akbaniyat, Yasharala for this video. It's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. Well, the Apostle says if you miss a day, you miss a lot. He ain't lying. Pause it right there. That's what they telling the troops over there. The ones that's boots on the ground right now. They're telling them that in order for Christ, they're using the word Christ. You know, the name Christ. It's God's plan. U.S. troops told Iran war is God's plan for the return of Christ, and to a certain extent, they're not lying. But the way they're doing it is they holding the truth in unrighteousness. You know, the way they're doing it is they're trying to use that as a catalyst for them to be willing to go and die, when the truth really is that they're using covet means once again to get oil, resources, and establish a central bank in Iran. But we know that that's what's going on behind the scenes on the left-hand side. That's the reason for them going in there. But on the right-hand side, these are the pieces that Yahweh is causing to happen. When I say left and right hand, let me get this so that we be clear about what I'm talking about. This is the book of Isaiah. It's Isaiah, I believe it's 45. I believe it's Isaiah 45 that speaks on it. Yes, this is Isaiah 45. When I say the left and the right hand, I'm talking about the left hand being the elite Edomites and the right hand being the elite men of righteousness, the elder apostles, the prophets. It says, Isaiah 45 and verse 7. I form the light. This is talking about the Heavenly Father Yahweh. Verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh, do all these things. You know, so when people, when I'm alluding to the left hand and to the right hand, verily this is Yahweh's movie starring Yahweh Shai. But on the right hand is the Lord's righteousness and his righteous servants, and on the left hand, he's also controlling from the left hand the wickedness and the evil that's going on, because all of the angels and all of the principalities are all subject to the Heavenly Father Yahweh. So even though there is an ancient war going on, good versus evil, Satan versus the Most High, Satan is still a created being, and those that follow him, you know, those evil, wicked demons who, it's all rank and file. The evil, wicked demons are subject to Satan, and whether they be the false demons, Baal, Molech, all those that these wicked, evil people in this video worship, and the things that they do to worship those false gods, like drinking blood and child sacrifices and all that wickedness, and human sacrifices and all that wickedness. They do those things in order to pay homage to their God. You know, when the men of the Lord are out on the street preaching the word of truth, preaching this doctrine in truth and sincerity, making these videos, we on the right hand are doing that to worship our power. So that's what I mean when I say the left hand and the right hand, because ultimately the Most High controls everything, because all angels, all principalities, all power is subject unto the Heavenly Father, the Most High Power, Yahweh, whose name means He is, He exists. His Son's name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is salvation, He is deliverer. That's what we mean. That's what when you hear the men of the Lord say the left hand on the right hand side, that's what we mean. That's what is meant. Shout out to the Bonnie God, Yasharallah. I'm gonna let this play one more time through. Fair use. Not trying to get any, fair use for educational purposes only. Catch that first time? Hold on. I'm going to let this play all the way through to the end, but I wanted you to see something. And this is, look at that. Look, not her. I'm not trying to stay focused on the woman on the pole. Look who's there. And ain't that Epstein? Look like he looking away. I think because he likes little children better than grown women. Never let up on exposing these devils. And once again, this is something else that alludes back to 2nd Esdras 15. This is the time that we're in. I'm gonna let these videos play out because I know, I want the information to be shared. I want the information to be shared so that you can see that this is the hour and time that we're living in, and we really need to take heed to what the scriptures are saying concerning these times. So I'm going to let this play out all the way into the end for the remainder.
Security incidents and possible terror-related events have unfolded across the country. In Austin, Texas, a mass shooting left multiple people dead and more than a dozen injured. The suspect was reportedly wearing clothing referencing Islam, and the FBI is investigating whether the attack had a terrorism connection. Then in New York City, police arrested several people after an explosive device was thrown during a protest outside the mayor's residence at Gracie Mansion. Today in Kansas City, an entire terminal at Kansas City International Airport was evacuated after a reported security threat, bringing in FBI agents and bomb units while thousands of passengers were moved onto the tarmac. And then there was an individual on a commercial flight yelling Allahu Akbar and claiming there was a bomb on board causing panic amongst passengers. Right now, investigators are still determining whether these incidents are connected or just a series of isolated events. But federal agencies have warned that conflicts overseas can lead to retaliatory attacks or inspired violence here at home. Stay alert.
Good evening. We begin with breaking developments. New World Order police have commenced nationwide seizures of printed Bibles. As of midnight, a Bible Confiscation Act is active in all territories.
By direct order of the world premier, all physical Bibles are now banned worldwide.
Possession of outlawed religious texts will be met with immediate seizure and detainment.
Authorities urge compliance to ensure order.
Please, it's just a book. Call you after this. Code 77. Step back.
Attention residents, space is treason. Compliance ensures safety.
All copies of the text must be seized. Move in.
Target, let's move! The world premieres, you're gone now!
Unauthorized religious material will be destroyed.
The word of God endures forever. Thy word have I hid in my heart. Amen. They can take the building, but not the truth.
Police, don't move! Down! On, do it!
Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death.
Will you submit and take the mark of the beast?
I will not! Let him hear what the Spirit saith.
Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
Bless out to Ashiyaya, Yahawashai for the elect for this video.
I'm thinking about nukes. I'm literally thinking like, well, why write my book that I'm writing? Why do...
You all have heard about the Epstein files, but what have you all learned? This is very important. If you have a child at home and you want your child to also stay safe, then watch this entire reel and be sure to share it with people. The most disgusting and the first truth is that demonic people and despicable people, you will find them in suits. They will speak to you very politely. They will speak with etiquette. If there is such a person around your children, then you must be vigilant. Do you know who abuses children the most? Only people you know do it. It happens only in trusted environments and familiar places, so no one will suspect. So keep an eye on such things whenever your child is in such an environment. Definitely listen to your child. If he is saying that I do not want to go to school, if he is saying I do not want to go to that relative's house, do not want to meet those uncles, do not want to go to those aunties, so listen to that thing. Ask yourself why it is so. This is a sign. Because children are unable to express their feelings, they can only react. You need to understand why that reaction is.
It's a shame you have to even have these type of videos on here. But yes, we know that, our children are precious to us and we want to keep them as safe as possible. Keep an eye on your children at all times. Get them out of these schools. One thing you should do, if you can, try to get them away from these damn schools that's filled with people that would harm them as well. These pedophiles and all these other people. But fair use. And this is evidence as well. All of this is evidence against Esau.
The man who shot Trump. This is the man who killed Melissa Portman. This is the man who tried to kill John Hoffman. This is the man who tried to kill Paul Pelosi. This is the man who killed an Obama-appointed judge's son. This is the man who hired hitmen to kill Democrats. This is is the man who ran over a left-wing activist and killed her. This is the man responsible for the Austin bombing. This is the man who sent pipe bombs to Obama, Biden, and Hillary Clinton. This is the man who shot Gabby Gifford. This is the man who tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. Oh, and this man, and this man, and this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, and this man. This is the man who set Josh Shapiro's house on fire. This is the Oklahoma bomber. This is his accomplice. These are just a few of the men who beat police officers on January 6th. I can think of a few things they have in common, and it's not the way they use their words or their left-wing politics.
Why the fuck are we still paying?
Touched on Revelation 2 and 9, but this is exactly what I was talking about. Revelation 2 and 9 and Revelation 3 and 9. Those that say that they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of the Hasatan. That's what they look like. They're the Ashkenazium, Turkish Ashkenazi, Khazarian, Jew, the Ish people. This was interesting. This was interesting that these IDF soldiers are now taking their pictures with faces away from the camera because they don't want to be seen, because they know that they're going to be eventually found out for what they're doing and the genocide that's taking place and what they're trying to continue to do. But they're getting some you know. They're getting what's coming to them, though. They're getting what's coming to them. And when I say they, I don't mean these individual people themselves, even though ultimately everybody is going to stand before the judgment seat of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. But what I'm saying is, Iran is getting some get back for the Gaza situation. We know that that's what's going on right now. But these people are taking pictures with their faces away from the camera so they cannot be clearly identified.
Capital of homosexuality. How in the hell that's going to be the capital of homosexuality in the promised land? In the Holy Land?
Say it again, so they know.
How is this going to be the capital of homosexuality in the holy, this is holy land? How are you going to allow abominations like that to exist? I'm asking you.
Exactly. And this is the same thing the same thing. Revelation 2 and 9, Revelation 3 and 9. But they don't belong there. They are not the people that belong in that land. They are not the chosen people of the promise. They don't belong in the promised land. They have no covenant with Yahweh. They weren't there at Mount Sinai. You know, the promise is through the seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not through Ashkenaz, who was the grandson of Gomer, and Gomer was the son of Japhet, ultimately. This was a couple of days ago. Yeah. Just some of the things that's going on that I had reposted. these devils, these Talmudic devils. But this is why that place has to be destroyed. You know, ultimately it is going to be destroyed, but it's eventually going to be rebuilt in the kingdom. You know, when the kingdom comes, when Yahweh Shem Yahushua returns. But this is the place. This is Tel Aviv, the place that Elder was talking about. Is supposedly the Holy Land, but is the capital of the whole alphabet people movement. So, how can you? And this goes back to Revelation 17, where it says, hold on, let me get it. Salakia. This goes back to Revelation 17. Yeah. Revelation 17, verse 2, and then I'm going to go down to verse 5, where it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. All the abominable things that both this Babylon has exported, and the abominations that Amalek has exported to other nations. Because make no mistake about it, it's Babylon the whore has exported nothing but abominations and filthiness, and is the mother of harlots, and they have exported that throughout the entire world. That's why when they go to sign these treaties and these documents with these world leaders, and even in Africa, in Nigeria, and in Senegal, they just had a parliamentary meeting where they outlawed being an alphabet person. You know, they outlawed that, and it's good, because they don't want that filth in their country. They don't want that type of thing in their country, you know, and I don't blame them. It's an abomination before the true and living Most High Yahweh. And, it's disgusting. But this is why this place, Tel Aviv, is going to be destroyed. You know? Because that's one of the central places. Every year they have that big parade there, you know, for all them alphabet weirdos to go out and, you know, openly be obscene and abominable. But retribution is coming, rest assured. Yeah. Fair use.
The nurse that is breaking babies' arms are only black babies, and it is a white woman that was doing it. So y'all need to make sure that y'all add that part into the story. It was not just random newborn babies. It was black newborn babies and a white woman nurse doing it. Then they made her leave because of it after her ass got caught, and I'm assuming became a liability, but then they invited her back to the hospital so she could continue doing it. I need y'all to stop reporting on this, leaving out the fact that these were targeted black
for that, Unmasked Poet. But yeah, you know, fair use. This is the world that we living in. Wickedness, especially against Jake, you know. And I'm gonna read this. Slovakia. Let me go back to it. I was in the midst of reading something. I got sidetracked with this. But this is this is what's going on right now. This is the world that we live in. It's absolute chaos everywhere, all over the place. War everywhere. Whether on the domestic front, people doing evil, wicked things to defenseless children, and these people are going to have to pay for their crimes. All of this stuff that's going on, everything that is happening, all of this is evidence against them. They do not realize that they are going to have to stand before the judgment seat of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And everything, all these videos that have been compiled, all this evidence has been compiled against them, and they are going to have to give an account for everything done while in the body. Nobody's getting away with anything. I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter, but I wanted to get this video out there, and I got a lot more reposts, a lot of stuff that, you know, I'm trying to look at and filter through the scriptures. It's really so much. It's so much going on. Honestly, you know, like I said before, and I'll say it again, the elder apostle ain't lying when they say that, you know, if you miss a day, you miss a lot. But I'll see you on the next one. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the elect of nation Israel. Double honors to the elder apostles. Great millstone. Shalom.
Larger scale.
Dad, what was back in